Text-to-speech enabled. Benita_Griff said he.
Good morning. Just gotta hit this hill out of the way. Oh, I'm doing very. Doing. Good morning, everyone. Another flippin' amazing day. That hill's the worst way to start off the morning. It's like as soon as I get out of my driveway, just go straight uphill. You're not warmed up. It feels way harder than it is, but then you get downhill. As downhill's nice in the summer, but in the winter it's freezing. Oh, smoke today. That's not good. Hopefully you guys can get the fires under control. Oh, I missed the light. If I was 5 seconds faster. Those train tracks are really, really nice. It's funny, you can drive over those super fast. The way the road kind of dips, and then the train tracks are like, they did the pavement almost exact to the tracks themselves. I'm always worried though, because I've lost a bag before because I didn't clip it down properly. And so I always have to double check. Oh, hey, thanks for the raid, Kai and Eric. Yeah, actually, I lost a bag, and I didn't realize until I got to work. And then I got to work, I'm like, freaking, where would I have lost my bag? But I'd stuck those little tile trackers I'd stuck those tile trackers in the bag, and I actually found right away where it was, so it's pretty handy. Well, yeah. If you're riding 25s, yeah. My cross bike, I got 38s, and I'm running fairly low air pressure on the 38s, so you can kind of go over. It is the morning. Yeah, my road bike, I can't fit anything bigger than 25s. That's the absolute max. And you really notice it when you jump from the cross bike to the road bike. And I mean, the road bike's faster, but I've kind of switched gears where I'm more concerned about comfort over outright speed. Like, I used to use my road bike all the time for commuting, and the cross bike, it's like yeah. So the cross bike is maybe 3 minutes slower than the road bike. Well, that's exactly it too. If you're riding for 3+ hours, and so I figured I started just using the cross bike exclusively for commuting because it gives me more options too. There's a lot of trails and sort of crappier roads you can take. Thanks, Vanita. And then if you have a cross bike with the bigger tires, if there is a trail or something that you want to go, you can just be like, yep, going this way. The road bike pretty much only gets brought off the trainer for road type events. So when I do a charity ride in August, the Tour de Victoria, those I'll ride the road bike. Belgian waffle ride in 2 weeks, or is it 2.5 weeks? That's cross bike, and it's 50% gravel. Dimitri, thank you very much. Thanks, Ziggy, for the gifted sub. I think my next bike, though, I'm not gonna get a pure road bike. I think I'm gonna get a gravel bike, like a nicer one, and sell my road bike. And then I'll just use the gravel bike as like the one bike to rule them all. And if I go and do, like a road event, Fondo, I'll just throw on road tires. I really, really want Yeah, like, cause I mean, unless I'm doing crits, the Venge is a fantastic bike. Yeah. I really like the Aspero 5. The Aspero, Cervelo Aspero seems to be the bike. But the only problem is I love it, but so many people have it on the island. So it's like you show up to a gravel event and there's 20 people and 8 of them are on Asperos. The Aspero is a good mix. Yeah, well, that's exact. Well, it's probably the best candidate for the one bike because technically it is a gravel bike, but they call it like a gravel, fast gravel. So the geometry is not quite gravel slack. It's like an in between. It's very close to road bike geometry. The head tube's a little slacker, but you can fit 42s on it. So you don't lose the, road bike feel on the road, but you can throw 42s and like rip, logging roads and gravel. And really, like, how long does it take to change tires? Not very long. So if I had, the gravel tires would stay on it for 95% of the time. And then if I had a road event, I would just swap to like 28s. Maybe even 30s, I don't know. I have a buddy that rides 32. Yeah, it does a little bit. I wouldn't mind too much. I have a buddy that rides 32 road bikes. Yeah, see Alberta, you guys got lots of. See here, it's almost the opposite. Gravel is becoming so huge here because I can ride like 2 minutes from my house and be on a gravel road, and then there's almost more gravel roads than there is roads. And the roads around here are sort of semi-sketchy.
Pretty much every night I do 50 kilometers minus 100 kilometers of road biking.
Oh, that is awesome.
Said they weigh the road, or here you need a full suspension bike. Said the issue is there is a lot of washboard gravel here.
Yeah, the gravel roads here are pretty dang good. There's a few that aren't great, but a lot of them, like the main ones we ride, are still active. So the active ones that you're allowed to use on the weekends, they grade those regularly. So they're about as smooth as gravel can be. Oh. I'm hoping it cools down a little bit for the next 2 weeks, because this kind of temperature, like it was yesterday afternoon, is not going to be the best for doing gravel racing. Well, I say racing. Yeah. I say racing, but I'm not racing. I'm just riding. I know a few guys that are actually racing the course, and they've been doing, 5-hour training rides on the weekend. I like to see my time, and I would definitely like to better my time every year, but I'm not like going out to just freaking balls to the wall race. I'm more would rather just enjoy the ride. I stop at all the rest stops, like all the feed stations, chit chat for a minute or two, top up the water bottle, eat some snacks. The VinFast. Apparently this VinFast boat was carrying a bunch of EVs out of Vietnam for like the first delivery ever in North America. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 144. That's awesome. How much elevation did you guys get there? It's like those rides that Barty does. If you ever look on Barty's Strava, it's like 200K, 160 meters elevation. Yeah, see, 900, that's decent. I just like the ones where, yeah, like I say, Barty, 201 kilometers, 170 meters. I'm like, that is, how flat is that? My 12K commute to work is almost 200 meters of elevation. It's like 50 meters of elevation just getting out of my house to the road. I think I hit my microphone. It's on my helmet here. How you doing today, Skip? We missed you on the weekend, but we won in your name. We thought Skip would really want us to win, so we better win. Well, we pretty much crushed all the other divisions. C just like destroyed. They were on fire. I got dropped. The C's were well in sync and everyone was pulling super hard. And we caught the D's at the aqueduct. Hello, I think. See, that is nice. That is a good... See, I do like climbing a little bit of hill, but that's like a nice amount. Look at this freaking boat. Yeah, I think hello is like a play on word.
Said, is that a boat or a floating square?
Yeah, it's totally cool looking boat. It's it carries cars. It's like a car carrier. So they're trying to maximize how many cars they can carry. So it's just like this big, huge rectangle thing. And it's super tall.
Said new car day.
Yeah, apparently it came from Vietnam with a carload of Vietnamese electric cars. And it's like the very first shipment to outside of Vietnam or something like that.
Rubophiles said can't believe you didn't be there.
I didn't be there. Like that race, that women's race where there was all that hoopla about the peeing.
Mr. Freenos said he's saving it in case he sees another fire.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Where the one lady who was like, you know, top of the leaderboard, she stopped to pee, and everyone, like, the opposing team totally attacked while she was peeing, and she got like dropped or something. And then she was all like boo-hooing on the interwebs about how, you know, if the race leader, it's just a known thing that if, you know, if they stop, everyone stops. And people were like, it was like the first 30K.
All I just saw that in an article.
Yeah. She stopped in the first 30K. They're like, what the heck? No one, like, maybe if you stopped 2 hours in, but like you stopped in the first third of the race. Like, that's on you for peeing that early in a race.
Mr. Freenos said it's also a race, not sure that's a rule. Rubophiles said just be on the right.
Well, then I was reading in that same, I think the same article I was reading, they were like, never, ever, like, touch a triathlete's bike. They're talking about bike shops where they, if a triathlete's bike comes in, the first thing they do is hose it down. Because triathletes don't stop, they just pee.
I've only peed on the bike once and it was in pouring rain.
Well, I always was like, I don't know how you can't, like how you don't pee on the bike on like the Tour de France when these guys are doing these 5-hour rides, you know, drinking tons. And I go on like these fondos. I go to the bathroom 4 times at the rest stations. It's like every rest station, it's like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom again. But they got like outhouses along the way.
Mr. Freenos said they pee off the side, but that's harder for women.
They were joking. It's like all the saddles have holes in it, so you just like pee right through the hole.
The 12th of us said law.
No.
Mr. Freenos said seen one where teammates are pushing guys while they pee.
Well, you lift up your shorts, hang it out the side. No dumpster fires this morning. All clear. There's the ferry.
Flex said meanwhile I'll be having a bathroom break in Picnic Long.
Well, that's what these Fondo rides now. I say I'm not as super concerned about my time anymore. I'm just there to have a good time, enjoy myself. Like, you pay a lot of money to go in these fondos, so you may as well stop and eat as much food as you can.
Hydrate and don't need to pee on a ride. Long.
Let's go around here. I don't know if this is a bike path or this is a walking path, but
You might be between offset Hooligan on a bike. While Flex said there has been a person in the ultra race there is right now that has been using single speed. They just go hard as possible, then stop and nap up ahead, and then they get back on the bike when people catch long.
single speed is crazy. I'd like the guys, there's a whole bunch of guys that race cross here on single speeds. Like there's a whole single speed division. And I just think as I'm like riding along, shifting every 15 feet, like how hard is that? One gear. And it's never the right gear for anything. It's too slow on the flats. It's like too hard on the uphills. This is like the other side of the harbor. Oh, I'm gonna test the stabilization by riding on boardwalk.
While Flex said yeah, there's another way to think about it is you no longer have to worry about shifting.
Yeah, actually, and then you don't no longer worry about having
Right here is.
bike maintenance. You have like a chain and a sprocket, that's it. Super simple. I would like to have a belt drive bike. I think that would be a nice commuting. Like belt drive with an internally geared rear hub.
While Flex said I am probably going to convert my vintage bike to fixed gear.
Fixed gear, yeah, that would be. We have a.
Flex said belt drive have a huge range also. He might Trikultrianov said now that seems like the way to go.
Well, you can get the Shimano makes apparently some really decent internally geared hubs for really good prices. And then belt drive, from what I've read, you can get like 100,000 kilometers on a belt drive. Oh, is it the classified 2-speed rear hub? That one? Well, then and then you need if you have belt drive, you have to have a frame that comes apart so you can actually put. Yeah, there's a guy in our bike club, Patrick, who works in a shop. He's got the classified rear hub on his gravel bike. He freaking loves it. It's really, really expensive though still, but it's cool because you only need a single chainring up front, and it converts the bike into basically dual chainring. But you can do some crazy gearing with it because the rear hub has like 2 ratios. So depending on the size of your front single ring, you can get like crazy low gear but still have a decent fast gear. Yeah, and it shifts wirelessly, which is cool.
Walterflex said the reason I am thinking fixed gear is that the dropouts are narrower in old frames.
Yeah.
For modern hub, I would need to full set the frame. Fixed gear hubs are 128 millimeters though, so I can just add phasers.
Yeah, it's way easier on an old bike like that to go fixed. It's a good call. I have a really old Cramarati cyclocross bike, but the rear dropout broke. And I was searching around trying to get it fixed. But the bike's not worth getting fixed because no one really does frame repairs anymore. And so anyone that does do frame repairs is like, oh, you'll have $400. I'm like, don't really want to spend $400 on old. Like, it's cool, but it's not that cool. I can still hang it on the wall and it'll be cool. I just don't ride it. Actually, the same guy with the classified rear hub rides his fixed gear, like, time trial track bike in the time trials outside. That's an amazing thing to watch. A guy coming up to the turnaround, which is like a 180-degree turn on his fixed gear. Does this weird little hop, stops pedaling, and oh, nice. Does this little hop, stops pedaling, then goes into like a power slide, goes around the corner. Like, it's awesome.
Walterflex said made somewhere between 1960 and 1970.
Oh, and how long?
Oh, I love the look. Like, I could totally have a really awesome old ass bike collection, but I never ride them because they're super uncomfortable. Oh, bike polo, that's cool. I see a lot of bikes popping up on Marketplace these days, like totally original, Kona mid-90s mountain bikes. And that was totally my era of riding when I started, was, the early 90s. And so these people are selling these bikes now that I could totally afford. But back then it was like a $2,600 Kona Explosive.
Walterflex said I worked for a company back then that did some marketing for Kona.
Oh, that's cool. Well, on the West Coast anyways, Kona was like a big thing for 90s mountain bikes. They're still awesome, but man, they were huge.
Walterflex said, yeah, I was living in Nelson at the time.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, if you're in Nelson, yeah, Kona, anywhere in BC, Konas were massive.
Walterflex said the MTB scene was booming then.
It's funny, cross bikes are basically mid-90s mountain bikes now with 700 tires. if you go back and look in old mid-90s mountain bike catalogs, the geometry of like most cross bikes are are fairly similar.
Flex said, yeah, I have a mountain bike in my garage with a bent rear dropout.
Oh, bent rear dropouts. Oh, I remember that. That was a very common. But
Flex said that looks similar to some of the new bikes.
But see, back in the 90s, most of the bikes were steel. So the bent rear dropout wasn't such a bad thing because you could just bend it back with like a derailleur alignment tool. It wasn't until like the aluminum bikes started, because you can't bend aluminum back, it just snaps. And all of the replacement. I remember I had,
That's why I still have it.
because it'll last forever and ever. Yeah, I have I worked in a shop through most of the late 90s, early 2000s. And I bought I have a 99 Kona Stinky Deluxe that I bought through the shop. I remember they didn't make very many of them, and I had like pre-ordered it. Like the moment the sales rep even showed me a picture of it, I had one on order, and they didn't make many of them. I think the number I was told was like couple hundred. And they weren't going to give me mine because they wanted customers to have it, not like shop employees. And I was like, dude, man, I ordered this like before the world even knew that this bike existed. Like, come on. And I went down to Oregon that same year I got it. And I remember there was a shop in Oregon and they were like, what? How did you get a Stinky Deluxe? Because like the shop was a Kona dealer and they're like, we couldn't even get one. Oh, really? Huh. Yeah, we were a Brody dealer when they weren't making like retail bikes. All of his bikes were custom, handmade. Like he had a catalog. You could pick a bike. The paint jobs were all. Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple buddies where I grew up had Brody Sovereigns. Such amazing, beautiful. Well, it was funny because it was like custom and not custom. I mean, it was like custom, but it wasn't like what you would consider a custom bike cost now. Like they were still like peak, like they were still up there, but nowhere near like a custom frame now. Like some of these companies, like $4,000. That'd be so cool to like build your own. There's a guy in Nanaimo here. I think his bike company name is Huckleberry Handmade, and he just started recently. I've seen a few of his bikes and they look nice, but he does it like out of his like back shop. Then there's up in Quadra Island, up in North Island, there's Naked Bikes. They've been hand building steel and titanium bikes for quite a while. They are super, super nice. They're a major sponsor of our local cross series, or Island Cross Series, and they donate a frame every year. And every race that you go in, you get an entry. And then, so every race you go in, you get an entry. And the final race of the year, you have to stick around for the awards ceremony, because they draw the name, a winner of this frame, and you have to be there. And last year they called about 5 names before someone was actually there. But it's like the frame, it's not really, they don't give you a frame, they give you a certificate, because it's a full custom bike that he builds up for you, or frame anyways, not the whole bike. Sam Whittingham. At one time, Sam was the world's fastest pedal-powered person for riding one of those like weird-ass aero bikes.
That sounds nice.
I would love to have a Thai hardtail. Like as a gravel bike, I think Thai would be fantastic. This way is a little more pleasant. Yeah, well I think too now, carbon has gotten so good in the last 10 years. Like original carbon bikes. Like original carbon bikes used to just be like super stiff. But now, everyone's doing like crazy layups. And so you can get a carbon bike that pedals really stiff, but just like removes all the chatter. It's like these bars. I have Easton carbon bars, and if you really reef on them, they're super stiff, but if you ride in the drops, you can actually feel the end of the drops have give. But yeah, Thai, totally, it'll last forever. Forever and ever. Like you hand it down to your children and your grandkids. Should go this way more often. Oh, I think so. I think so. Like resin and everything holding the carbon bike together, that's gonna eventually, that's gotta wear, like decompose or just become brittle or something over the years. Yeah, if you ever do get a dent. Pretty sure repairs are quite costly. Yeah, that's, well, you got it. It's like glue and resins, and I mean, hey Lantio. Well, aluminum apparently, it's not called melting, but aluminum droops over hundreds of years. Like if you have a perfectly square block of aluminum, like measured laser perfect, and you come back and measure it 20 years later, it'll be different. It's soft, and gravity slowly pulls it down. But we're talking hundreds of years though. Probably does. I've only read articles of square aluminum blocks. And really, if you have a frame, and say even if it just sits. Hey Lantio, thanks for the follow. Well, and I think too, like, bikes are moving around all the time, so you might see different forces rather than a square block sitting in the same spot for 100 years. And even if your dropout moved a millimeter, probably wouldn't be an issue. Oh man, I left her, got a good time. I'm making good time today. Yeah, I was actually thinking of getting a carbon post for my gravel bike, just because of that. Well, that's like a lot of, like, if you look at the Canyon gravel bikes, the seat post actually is split. It's got a hollow in the middle to allow the seat post to bend back. It is 7:47 a.m. in the morning. Heading through the tunnel. One day I'll get through this tunnel fast enough that I won't lose connection. This.
Navabot then came to a stop. Will, BDL.
Oh,
127, 1281 mid. Speed quick flip, mid, BDL.
that was so close.
1211, 58 milliseconds.
That was really close. I don't know. I think there could be pee in that tunnel. Those tunnels are always sketchy. What time is it? Oh, radar error. 7:49. Dude, I'll tell you a story about the tunnel.
What tunnel doesn't have pee?
Not that tunnel, but there's another one down by my place. It's to get underneath the highway, and it's super dark. Like there's no lights in these tunnels. And so I was riding this bike, just going for a ride, and there was a used, dirty-ass mattress in the middle of the tunnel. I didn't see it, so I hit the mattress, endoed. I flew over the mattress, landed on like the concrete on the other side of the mattress. Bike landed on the mattress, scraped my knee, my arm, both arms totally scraped up. It was so gross. I got home and I was telling my wife, I'm like, I need the hydrogen peroxide. Where's the disinfectant? I've been tainted with yeah, the bike totally, nothing happened to it. It just landed right on the mattress, but I had to wash everything. Ugh. Scraping your skin on tunnel ground. Nasty. And this tunnel is at the exact halfway point of the ride, so it's not like I could turn around and just be like, I'm going back home real quick. So spent the rest of the ride trying not to sweat. It's like blood was pouring down my arm, and I'm like, I mean, I'm fine, nothing happened, but man, that was the worst heebie-jeebie feeling I've ever had. And it was dirty because they basically had that mattress there because homeless people were using the tunnel as midnight shelter. Yeah. It was one of the fastest bails that I've ever done, though, because he didn't see it coming. It was just I'm riding, and all of a sudden, bam, on the ground. And I didn't even really know what I hit. Just sort of wiped out and was like, what the heck happened there? My bike is lying perfectly on this mattress. Those kind of crashes, though, are probably the best if you're gonna crash. Because you had no time to, stiffen up and brace yourself. It honestly, it totally did. The bike landed on the mattress and just rested there. So that was decent.
would have been better.
Well, yeah, definitely no crash would have been better. Except P-tunnel crashing. That's about as worst as you can get. You don't even want to go in those tunnels, let alone crash in them. Like there's bush just outside the tunnel. Pee in the bush. Well, should probably I'd go back. I've gone past work. This weather is perfect warmth right now. Let's see who is on. Hitch. Hitch is actually finally riding. We gotta go raid Hitch. Hitch is back on the bike. What was it that happened yesterday? It started? Hitch in his new like super trailer with his solar panel. Like the ultimate IRL bike streaming setup. I know, that's great. I was looking at the pictures on his Discord. I'm like, man, that is awesome. It's like a 200 watt solar panel charging batteries. I'm wondering how that thing does if you go in the wind though. That's like turns into a kite. What? Oh, I missed the stream yesterday. A dog jumped on it? Ah. Well, the solar panels though, they're made to go on roofs.